Hello, hello.
Yeah, I'll start. So thanks everyone for joining us here for this post-match press conference following India versus New Zealand. We're joined by Jasprit Bumrah of India. As you all know by now, we'll be taking questions from inside the room before we move to questions on Zoom. So I will now hand over to Molin, who will be selecting questions from in the room. If you do have a question, please can I see your hands? Can I ask everyone please to go on mute on Zoom, please?
Hi Jasprit, Amol from the Hindu. How do you explain such a batting display as conditions were obviously challenging, but how do you eventually explain such a batting display?
I think as a batting unit, what we were trying to do is that we know in the second innings, dew does play a massive factor. So we, I think, tried to give us some cushion. We wanted to get some extra runs that could give us the advantage in the second inning. In doing that process, I think we played a lot of shots, attacking options that didn't come off today. So I think that was the approach as a batting unit that was going on, because in the second innings, batting does get easier. So we wanted to give that cushion to the bowlers. And I think that was the thought process. In that thought process, I think we played a lot of attacking shots.
After a defeat like this and two defeats, how do you keep yourself kind of balanced and stay strong?
See, as a sportsman, you face a lot of days in cricket. Some days would be good, some days would be bad. So what I try to do is not get very high when good days happen, or not get very low when low days happen. So all of these things always are a part and parcel of a cricketer's life. Try to stay in the moment, analyze what went wrong, what went well, and try to move forward. That's the only way that you can move forward in this game.
जसप्रीत, आपने बॉलिंग भी करी, बैटिंग भी आपने देखी, तो पहले इनिंग में जो आपने बोला कि बड़े शॉट्स खेलने के लिए हम कोशिश थे, लेकिन बड़ा आउटफील्ड और बॉल जो स्टॉप करके थोड़ा सा पहले इनिंग में आ रहा था, उसका असर पड़ा ज़्यादा?
एज अ बॉलर जैसे मैं बता सकता हूँ आपको, सेकंड इनिंग में जब हम लेंथ बॉल डाल रहे थे तो वो होल्ड नहीं कर रहा था, बट जब फर्स्ट इनिंग में आपने देखा होगा कि वो लेंथ बॉल डाल रहे थे तो पिकअप पुल्स लग नहीं रहे थे और मुश्किल हो रहा था शॉट मेकिंग, तो वो ऑप्शंस चेंज हो रहे थे. तो हमने डिस्कस किया था कि हम पिछली गेम खेले थे तो सेकंड इनिंग में विकेट बेटर हुआ था, तो हम कुशन देना की कोशिश कर रहे थे कि एक्स्ट्रा 20-25 रन बनाए तो हम लोग वो कवर कर पाए एंड बॉलर्स को थोड़ा मार्जिन मिल पाएगा. तो वो एक डिफरेंस हमेशा रहता ही है कि जब आप टॉस एक काफ़ी क्रूशियल फैक्टर हो जाता है, तो वही हम कर रहे थे कि जब अगर ये हो चुका है तो हम कैसे हेल्प कर पाए और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा टोटल ला पाए सेकंड इनिंग.
We'll take questions on Zoom now. Arani Basu, Kushan Sarkar, and then Anuj Mishra.
Yeah, Jasprit, Virat just now in the presentation just said that batsmen weren't brave enough to starting the innings. And given the bowling attack, you have led this bowling attack for 2 years and you have bailed this team out over and over again. So what kind of discussions do you have with the batsmen? They feel the pressure, obviously, that they need to give the cushion to you. So what kind of discussions do you have with the batsmen?
See, we don't have discussions. I'm not trying here to teach what the batsman should do, but what we were focusing, as I told before as well, that we realized that once you lose the toss, the wicket changes in the second inning. So, yeah, obviously I felt that we wanted to give the cushion, and it was a discussion that we want to give the cushion to the bowlers, and that happened. So in that, I think we went attacking a little early, and the longer boundaries actually came into play. They used the slower balls well, they used the wicket quite well to their advantage, and they made it difficult for our batters to play the big shots. And because the singles were not there on the offer, so the attacking shots, high risk shots were always there. So yeah, I think that was the summary what happened today, and yeah, that's for everyone to see.
Yeah, hi Jasprit, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Jasprit, my question is that there has been IPL, and after IPL, the T20 World Cup, there is a very short turnaround. So many matches inside the bubble. Do you think fatigue also creeps in when you're playing so many matches together and duration 6 months you're out on the road. So does that also back of the mind affect?
Absolutely. Sometimes you need a break. You miss your family. Sometimes you've been on the road for 6 months. So all of that sometimes play on the back of your mind. But when you're on the field, you don't think about all of those things. You don't control a lot of things, how the scheduling goes on or what tournament is played when. So yeah, obviously staying in a bubble and staying away from your family for such a long period of time does play a role on the player's mind as well. But DCCI has also tried their best to make us feel comfortable. But this is the time which we are living in right now. It's a difficult time. There's a pandemic going on. So, yeah, we try to adapt, but sometimes, bubble fatigue, mental fatigue also creeps in, that you're doing the same thing again and again and again. So, yeah, it is the way it is, and you can't control a lot over here.
Bumrah, do you feel Ashwin experience could have made a difference while defending a small total?
See, in hindsight, we could say a lot of things. If in hindsight we would have wished we scored a lot more runs, we could have got a lot more wickets. But now, looking at it, that obviously he's an experienced bowler. Obviously, he adds a lot of value to the bowling attack whenever he comes. But in hindsight, it's very difficult because, as I told you, there's dew in second innings. So when the ball doesn't grip, so the options become very difficult, very rare, and very little, and very rare for the bowlers to, the margin of error goes down. So in hindsight, you might say that okay, he might have made a difference, but it's too difficult to judge right now.
We'll take one more question, Venkat Krishna.
Yeah, Jasprit, you spoke about getting those 20-30 runs while batting first, but as a bowler, when opposition is also in the same position, is it easier for their batsmen to get those 20-30 runs on these pitches? Because these are mostly two-paced and stuff.
It's not very easy, but that is the challenge that you'll have to take extra responsibility. That was the communication. Obviously, it's difficult. That is why everybody who's playing an evening game is choosing to bowl first. So because there's a massive difference. So we understand that, we knew that, and our batters did understand that they have to give the cushion if they are batting first. So they tried their best. Obviously, it didn't come off today, but the communication was clear, and everybody knew what the situation of the game is and where we were heading.
Okay, that concludes the press conference. Thanks very much. Okay, so thanks very much everyone once again for joining us for this post-match press conference. We're joined by Ish Sodhi of New Zealand following India versus New Zealand. So as always, we will take questions from in the room before we go over to Zoom. So if there are questions here, please can I see a show of hands, please?
Hi Ish. Was the team surprised to see India field a different opening combination, and how did your plans in the power play change for that?
Yeah, I think the change to the team was something that we found out quite late. Ishan Kishan's obviously been in great form, so we had to think on our feet, which I think the power play bowlers did exceptionally well in doing. You have to be able to think on your feet. As a team, we speak a lot about adapting to conditions. That's a big thing that we, try to pride ourselves on. And I think when you're faced with circumstances like that, to be able to respond quickly is a great test of character. And I thought the bowlers did that really well in the power play today.
Happy birthday, Ish.
Thanks, man.
Play of the match. That's some way to celebrate.
Yeah, it's pretty cool way to spend your birthday. I think you spend so much time your season or year away from your friends and family, so to have a day like that and beat a top quality side like India is pretty cool.
There were some images of you and Santner kind of just smiling whilst Daryl Mitchell was kind of knocking the runs off. Is that a relationship that's kind of blossomed over time? How was it, especially bowling in the middle overs? You really strangled India down.
Yeah, I think off the park we have a great relationship. Very good mates. We've played a lot of cricket together now. But I think on the park, the way that he bowled today, 4 overs through the middle, one of those in the power play to create the pressure that he did and induce some false strokes. I think a lot of us bowlers benefit a lot from the pressure that he puts on through that middle period, and that can definitely never go unnoticed.
And possibly a word or two on Daryl Mitchell. I mean, a week ago he'd never opened in a T20.
Mate, there you go. I think that's phenomenal. We're just speaking to him then. That was his second game opening the batting in 2020 professional cricket, and he's facing one of the best bowling attacks in the world. So it's a huge testament to his character, and also I think the backing that he's receiving from our camp. Believe in his ability immensely, and there was never going to be an easy chase. They were always going to come out and be really aggressive with the ball. The conditions were, we didn't quite know how they were going to play. The way that he played that game was definitely the icing on the cake.
Traditionally, India are considered excellent players of spin. So for you and Mitch Santner to win again after having done so a few years ago in Nagpur, how special is that?
Yeah, it's very special. I think you can often get caught in that trap of the expectations. We played a great game against them in the 2016 World Cup, but when you say 2016, it's 5 years ago. We change, a lot of players change, strategies change. I think T20 cricket in general changed a lot even in that time. But I think looking back at tonight especially, I go back to the amount of pressure that was created by Mitch, and also the power play bowlers for keeping it really tight. Trent Boult and Tim Southee, obviously stalwarts of New Zealand cricket. But I think Adam Milne had a tough over, but he came back exceptionally well and finished with some pretty good figures on that wicket. So I think as a collective, that team bowling performance was a pretty good one.
You told us about adapting to the conditions, but bowling first, bowling second, how would you say that you can adapt to the conditions? Can you answer it in Hindi? Is it possible?
Oh, my Hindi's going to be tested there, sir. I think if my mum's watching this and I say something slightly wrong, she'll give me a hard time about it. So I'll answer in English this time round, but hopefully I can develop my Hindi better. But yeah, I think adapting to conditions is a big thing we speak about a lot. And I think the thing that we had to judge by was the last couple of games that have been played in the Dubai stadium. And I think with the bubble life, usually you have a chance to look at the conditions or come and see the ground before you actually get a chance to play. But today was the first time we've ventured into this ground. So a lot of our understanding of the conditions has been from watching other games. Last night, I think it was a game of two halves. It looked reasonably tough to score in the first innings, but I don't know whether there was much of a factor of dew out there, but I thought England batted exceptionally well on that wicket to score the runs as quickly as they did. So we're a little bit unsure what the wicket was going to play like, and I guess bowling first gives you that chance to understand that a little bit better than bowling second.
But how would you bowl in the second innings?
I think you just have to be really conscious of the boundary sizes. Often even in the first innings, you get caught up sometimes if you've got them a few wickets down of over-attacking. But with the quality of batsmen the Indian team have, someone like Rishabh Pant can take the game away from you within 2 or 3 overs. So you have to be really conscious about what your defensive options are, as well as being aggressive through the middle. But when you've got a bigger side to work with, I think you try to get them to hit the ball there as much as you can.
Hi, Ish, it's Andrew Vorman from Stuffback in New Zealand here. You can hear me?
Gotcha, mate.
Congratulations. You've played a lot of T20s, a lot of World Cup matches now. How up did the team feel for this one, compared to all the matches you've played in the past?
Yeah, I think the boys held their composure really well. I suppose it was quite hard not to think it was a big game in this competition for us over the past few days. But I guess it kind of was, but the boys just held their composure really well. The toss went our way, and we've got a tremendous amount of experience in this group. Trent Boult and Tim Southee with the new ball. They've been doing a great job for us for a number of years, and for them to set the tone like they did today, and all the bowlers to kind of back that up, and then the innings that we played to score those runs, I think was a great job.
And you mentioned the toss. Given what we've seen with chasing, in this tournament and at this ground, how big a psychological advantage do you think it was for you guys to win the toss and have the chance to bowl first?
I don't know if it was much of a psychological advantage or anything like that, but I think the stats did say something this morning, like 14 games out of the last 18 had been won chasing here. So I guess from a tactical perspective, I would assume both teams would have wanted to bowl, and that's just the way the cricket goes. The coin can only go one way, and thankfully it went our way today.
Thanks, Ish, and happy birthday.
Thanks, mate.
Rohit, you're up.
Hi, Ish, congratulations. Just want to ask that, can you tell us about your plans against Rohit and Virat, especially what had happened during drinks break and you picked up Virat after that? Can you tell us about your plans, a bit about both?
Sorry, man, I will need to hear that again.
Your plans against Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, especially you picked up Virat Kohli after that drinks break. You want to tell us about some?
Yeah. So I think the big one tonight was taking the batsman out of the equation. I think if you bowled to the conditions, it was important. You didn't want to get too full on this side, closest to us, because the boundary on the leg side was so small. And so often, even if the conditions are offering something, if there's a little bit of spin or a little bit of bounce or something like that, if you over pitch with the quality of batsmen and in the Indian cricket team, the amount of times they take spinners down in the IPL, you're asking for trouble. So it was important to keep your length back, I reckon, on this side of the field. Whereas on the other side, to the leg side, was a lot longer. So you probably had a bit more margin for error with your length. So I think it was just being really conscious of that and making sure that you bowled to the conditions more so than the batsman.
Thank you. Happy.
Hi, Ish. Firstly, wish you a very happy birthday.
Thanks, man.
There have been lots of talk about tackling the DO in Dubai. Jasprit mentions that DO made things difficult and balls weren't really stopping on the pitch. So in terms of practicing bowling with a wet ball and fielding with it, did you guys do anything different in practice?
It's been interesting because I think there hasn't probably been as much dew as we've expected in the evening matches. I'm told that the weather's gotten a lot cooler over the last 2 or 3 weeks, actually. So I don't know whether that's had a bit of an impact on the lack of dew. But it's something that we always consider. We always speak about in the group. If we do, find ourselves in a situation where the ball starts to get a bit wet, who's got the towels and who can dry the ball off as quickly as we possibly can, because we've obviously got a time limit that we have to get the innings bowled by. So it's important to have those people with those towels out there if it does tend to dew up, but fortunately it hasn't been too bad so far.
Thanks, Ish. All the best.
Thanks, man.
I think we might be wrapped up there then, Ish. Thanks very much, guys.
Cool.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Hi, Ish. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, got you, man.
Okay, I just have a quick question. Did the team expect this encounter to be such a one-sided affair as it turned out to be?
Absolutely not. You go into matches like this with a team full of world-class performers like India have, and they've had a great record against us over the past few years. Very tough opposition in any conditions anywhere in the world. So it's definitely a special win. After a tough loss against Pakistan, I think the boys regrouped really well, and to be able to pull off a win like that, it's definitely something you don't take lightly.
Great. That concludes today's press conferences. Thanks very much for your time, everyone.